This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. It's time to tee it up. News from the world of golf. We're on the range with Jay and Dan.
Happy Memorial Day, everyone, and welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing from the CarShield Studios, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. With Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Another great show in store for you. We'll visit with Kevin Korn, head professional at Innsbruck. He has a great program in which he has involved himself with kids with special needs at Rankin, Jordan. We'll get into that and how golf has played a major role in helping kids get back on their feet, live productive lives. Kevin Korn will be our guest. Also, Tyler Lowenstein, Director of Fitness from ELV8 Golf, will be our guest. And this is Golf with Jay Delsing. Jay, happy Memorial Day. Great to be with you.
Danny, always love being with you. Can't wait to do this show. And, man, we got some great content from the world number one golfer being arrested to a phenomenal finish at Valhalla, and Xander Schauffele getting that monkey off his back, the reemergence of Viktor Hovland, and Bryson the Showman. It was a lot going on last week.
He's not as much of a villain anymore, is he, Bryson DeChambeau?
I'm not exactly sure how he got that villain hat. You know, he had that feud with Brooks Koepka, and that was all nothing. That was all just Brooks making stuff up and them volleying back and forth in social media to just kind of promote each other's brands, I think, because they played on the Ryder Cup team that year. They were fine. Everything went well. But I just thought, no, he's not a villain anymore, and we'll talk about that.
All right, let's get into it. The winner, Xander Schauffele, basically from the opening bell to the finish, a lot of pressure on him, and as you mentioned, finally gets that monkey off his back. He wins the PGA Championship.
Absolutely, Danny. To win wire to wire, it's never, ever easy. He starts out, now remember, last year at the U.S. Open at LA Country Club, Xander opens with 62. I think he and Ricky Fowler both opened with 62. And 62 in a major championship, man alive. So that ties the low round scoring record. But to go out and have the lead every single day, this is what you and I were talking about off air. But let's share this with the people, with our listeners. So you go out on the PGA Tour and you shoot 62 on a major championship venue. So Valhalla is a major championship venue, 7,600 yards of golf. Tough, right?
Shane Lowry did the same thing.
Right. So you then go out, you follow that up the next day, and it's hard to follow a super low round with another super low round. And you shoot out 68. You're thinking, well, that's pretty damn good. I got 130 strokes after 2 rounds, and I'm going to have a big lead. You got a 1-stroke lead. Right. You go 62, 68, you're leading by 1. That's how difficult it is to maintain that stuff on the PGA Tour. He went from a 3-shot lead, shoot 68, and all of a sudden it's dwindled down, and it was back and forth. And there was a time, even on Sunday, where the emergence we talked about of Viktor Hovland, he had the lead there for a minute, and it looked like Viktor was just going to birdie into the house, you know. So I thought the drama was great. I thought something very interesting happened to Xander, and I wonder if he used this to help him get over the hump on Sunday. Danny, on the 15th hole, he completely broke out of his personal routine and made double bogey on Saturday. And it was so obvious. Dottie Pepper made a comment. Jim Nantz was talking about, it looked like he took an extra amount of time. And so what that is, folks, is that when you start putting more significance on a single shot and break free or away from your routine where you're into the processes, you're using the things that got you there, and you break away, it's awful. It's like the death blow, Danny, to you from a personal golf standpoint.
I was sitting there watching it, saw the same thing, and I was wondering at that time, why would he do that? I mean, with the success that you have, the rhythm that you're in,
Yep.
Now he's got his reasons for sure, but I was just wondering, why would you do that? Because normally when you're watching these guys, I mean, Brian Harman has, as much as it's hard to watch, he's got his own routine and what he does. He's fidgety, he's standing over the ball, seems like it takes forever. But those are the kind of things that these guys do to get themselves in a position to win.
Absolutely. And every single guy on the PGA Tour has a pre-shot routine, and they don't vary off of it. And so for Xander to vary off of it, something had to come up. Something, because there is no way in hell he didn't do that one other time. Even from 15 on, Danny, on Saturday, he didn't. He went back to the old, what he had done, and he did it for every single shot on Sunday. So I'm sure it was kind of subconscious. I'm sure he wasn't aware of it. And it was awesome to see him close the deal on Sunday. New all-time major championship scoring record, 21 under par. He wins his first major championship, his 8th win on the PGA Tour. And this guy has just been in the mix over and over and over again. So a couple things I want to ask you. And we'll talk about Scheffler for sure. Do we remember, and hopefully we do, Xander Schauffele getting his first win or world number one getting arrested on Friday morning?
I think both can be true.
Golly, man.
Both can be true.
And then, Danny, from a pure golf standpoint, what does this do to Xander
Just
moving
ask you
forward?
That. The monkey is off his back. So now all of a sudden, not to say that he's not playing carefree and easy, but the pressure of what he had to do on 18. He knew what DeChambeau had just done to get to 20 under. So he has to make birdie, and he does it, and the monkey is off his back. This is the kind of thing that almost propels him potentially into a different stratosphere.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
100% of the time. To hold the lead for all 4 days, to sleep on it. I've done that on a lesser level, and it is not necessarily easy, but man, is it rewarding when you pull it off. And here's a guy that I think we said on last week's show, Danny, he had slept on the lead 7 times on the PGA Tour going into Saturday evening, meaning he's going to strike the last shot off the first tee on Sunday. He's got the lead, and he's only closed one of those out. So now this is 2, but this is a major. This is different. I can't wait to see, because he's one of the good guys. This is an extremely popular win on the PGA Tour. This is a guy, he goes about his business. He's not, listen, Rory has moonwalked, sidewalked. He's gone sideways on almost everything. This is a guy that's few words, but he speaks when he's spoken to, and it's a very popular win. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this does for him in the future.
Did you, when you were playing, you're trying to beat everybody's butt out there, and you don't like to lose. You get to that level, you're as competitive as you possibly can be. But if you ever got out of contention, did you ever say, I'm kind of pulling for this guy. I am pulling for him, We're human, man. We got our favorites. We got our non-favorites. But did you find yourself ever doing that?
Absolutely. And what I found myself doing more times than not, Danny, is screwing. Once there's this realization, let's say you're just fighting this thing out, man. You're fighting it out, and you're going down to 2 holes left, and you make a bogey and he makes a birdie, and now all of a sudden you're down by 3 with 1 hole left, and there's already a guy that's in, that's going to beat you. I bet you I bogeyed that next hole 100 times.
Is that right? That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, because it's almost like the wind comes out of your sails, and you're like, I was so focused on X, and that was not a good thing to do, obviously, because I cost myself thousands of dollars. But you're so focused on one thing and one thing only, not finishing 4th, not finishing 3rd. It's almost like I didn't care, and because I wanted 1st and I didn't want 3rd. I'm like starting the day going, man, I hope I can stay in 3rd.
You're
you
right,
know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't what I was doing. And so I remember talking to a fella, he played at Oral Roberts. He's a California kid named Bill Glasson. I don't know if you remember Bill. Bill went on tour
sure,
5 or 6 times. Yeah. And we talked about that one time, and I said, Bill, because I was playing with him, And he had gone up, so we were in that spot where we were probably starting the day around a top 10, and he took off, and I was kind of more or less treading water. I was a couple under. He went to 5, 6, 7 under, and then something happens towards the end, but I watched him make a couple really, really grimy, gritty up and ins to save some money, and I said, Bill, I so admire that. I mean, nice going. That is not, this was after the tournament. Obviously, we're having a beer, and I said, not easy to do. How do you do that? He goes, man, when I was a kid, I gave away so much money. You know, when that would happen to me, I just go ahead and I would never get those 2 up and down and finish with 2 more bogeys. And Danny, it's so disheartening to pick up the paper and look at the leaderboard and watch you just slide 3 more spots. You know, it's like somebody cut a hole in your pocket and there go hundreds of $100 bills are just going out the window. So it's a learned skill, and I really, really appreciated that, and I absolutely did root for certain guys if it wasn't going to be me.
We've never seen anything like what happened to Scotty Scheffler on day 2 of the PGA Championship, and to his credit, he goes out and shoots a great round in day 2. I do think it wore him out a little bit.
100%.
Wasn't quite the same player.
No.
Still was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Still was great. Still found himself somewhat in contention, but we've never seen a situation like that. Ever.
I don't even know how to describe it. So I wake up in the morning, and I've had my routine. I read about 6 or 8 golf publications, and I'm reading all the stuff, and my phone is blowing up, and I'm like, what is going on? And I look at this video, and I'm like, it's groggy. I'm old. I can barely see in the morning. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, is that Scotty Scheffler in handcuffs? Right. I'm thinking, what in the hell? So now I'm up out of bed, looking around. I got to get on my laptop so I can see what the heck I'm doing. And I was like, this is unbelievable. Scotty this is a guy, Danny, I would love to ask him if he's ever gotten a speeding ticket. Probably a parking ticket, probably not a speeding ticket.
Probably not a parking ticket,
probably not the guy. And I just think about this, and I'm like, what in the world could have happened? How did this situation get so sideways? This is a quiet guy. This is a respectful, way God-fearing, way on this other side of the spectrum of doing the right thing, courteous. The word respectful is perfect for him. How did this thing get so out of whack? And I guess we're still trying to unfold it down there in Louisville. But, Danny, so I've been in this situation before. There's a fatality, and that's awful. And my hearts go out to that family. Terrible situation that person got hit by a bus that morning and killed. But when you go to these major championship venues, Danny, they're not these places that were built for that. Typically, they're old school 1 or 2 lane roads going in. So there's always traffic issues, and there's always a police force, and there's always somebody there trying to, keep things moving, keep them going, things like that. For this to happen, when Scotty's in a tournament vehicle and in a situation where there's policemen everywhere. Those cars, Dan, are only given out to players.
So I was going to ask you, courtesy cars, a lot of people are saying, why is he driving himself to this event? And I know you have an answer for this, but even at the Ascension Charity Classic, there are courtesy cars for the players. So why is that? One of the things I said was that it'd be like if Tiger pulled up when he was sponsored by Buick and pulls up in his Buick, and you get that shot when he comes out of the car and he's walking towards the clubhouse and getting ready for preparation for the round. You can't buy that kind of advertising. It's awesome to have that if you're Buick, because there's Tiger getting out of our car. He's our sponsor. He's our guy. He's our spokesman. Yep. We want that affiliation. And I wonder if that's part of what they're doing right there, to be the official vehicle provider of a particular tournament.
Oh, 100%, Danny. That's why when the BMW comes here, all the players will be driving big, fat, brand new BMWs. When I played at the PGA Senior Championship at Bellerive, gosh, it's been 10 years ago, something like 2013, 2014, we all were driving around brand new Mercedes.
Sure.
And it's all part of Mercedes sponsorship, and they want all the spectators to watch the players drive and provide those vehicles, and then they turn around and sell them as demos, so there's advantages to doing that sort of thing. And so Scotty's got but Danny, none of the players use drivers. They all drive themselves. But think about that. This was Friday morning. This was Eastern time, 5:30 in the morning. So Scotty's got a 7-something tee time. He's going to go in and get a workout in before he plays, which is not uncommon anymore. I mean, I used to go get a 25. I used to get on the bike and ride it hard for probably 20, 25 minutes, get a bunch of stretching in, do a few exercises, and then go hit some balls and go play. That's exactly what he was doing. And when there's a traffic jam, it happens almost every single week, D. When you're in that car, it's like, oh, it's understood. That's a player. You're going to the golf course. It's not like he's going to go. Is he going to? I don't understand this police officer's mentality. Like, what did he think was going to happen if he let this car through?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go play golf.
It's fair. I mean, it's a fair assessment
It's the only thing I just don't understand. Now, obviously, something happened. You know what probably happened, D? There's such police force out there, and I'm sure the men in blue were agitated. I'm sure they were on high alert because of this fatality. And now it's just a cluster. You've got to run through all the protocol. This man's lost his life. You've got to take care of this situation and do it justice. And I'm wondering if, because it was so dark and raining, Danny, if Scheffler, and I'm sure he did, was getting one guy waving him through, one guy in the front of his car was waving him on, the guy on the right or on his left that decided, I'm going to jump on the car while it's moving. Doesn't make any sense to me either. Didn't understand that he was getting, I'm sure Scotty was getting multiple sets of instruction, and the one guy was feeling like he was getting ignored and decided, I don't like it.
And if you wonder what kind of guy he is, I thought the way that he handled it in his press conference and what he said subsequently, he handles it with class, and that's the kind of guy that he is. It just showed it to a T that particular day and how he handled that situation.
100%, Danny. He thanked all the police officers for their service. He thanked all of the volunteers. He said his heart goes out to the family of the man that lost his life, and he said, look, this is a gigantic misunderstanding, but he also said, I'll take full responsibility. I was following directions from one person, and there was a miscommunication because someone didn't understand that I was already being told what to do.
Yeah.
And it's what's I guess, Danny, what I don't get is how it got this far out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I mean, a jumpsuit, a mugshot, a felony. I mean, wow. Yeah. That seems like a big stretch. So you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We don't want to guess and all that other things, but I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Explain the difference. We've talked about this before, but the difference between the PGA Tour and PGA of America. For instance, a guy like Kevin Korn coming up on our show, head professional at Innsbruck, because that is the difference.
Yes.
When you talk about what's happening on the PGA Championship, it is brought to you by, so to speak, the PGA of America.
100. Danny, you're 100% right. So the PGA of America, they host the Ryder Cup and they host the PGA Championship. And the PGA of America consists of our friend Nathan Carnes, Don Ray, who's the vice president right now, John Leonard, who's the president of the PGA, our buddy Seth Waugh, who's going to come back on the show, who is the CEO of the PGA of America, and they represent 30,000 men and women professionals around the country that are members of the PGA of America, and they run that championship. And these are the guys like Kevin Korn, like our buddy Brandon Smitty over at Norwood, and all of the other, Mike Tucker at Belle Reve, and the list goes on of these men and women that are putting together golf events. They're getting the golf shop ready. Some of them are pulling carts, some of them are picking balls in the range, doing whatever it takes to make our golf experience better. That is the PGA of America. The PGA Tour is only tour golf players and people that work for the organization.
No amateurs either.
No,
in that tournament.
No, there's no. No, there's no amateurs in that tournament. And I want to say this, and we talked about this briefly, but it needs to be known. They did an unbelievable job, Danny, of inviting everybody that should have been invited. Taylor Gooch, where were you, my man?
Yeah.
Where were you? You have run your mouth and talked and about an asterisk because of the major championships. How about that?
Do you think this is a precursor to how you unite live and you bring in the PGA Tour? I just wonder if this is the model of what needs to be done.
It's some version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it will look like this, Danny, hopefully, once this thing gets itself worked out. Now, the biggest details are in the money and in the purses and in the championship, how it's run. Where are they? Where are they going? Are they going outside of the U.S.? How do we get the live players back in the fold? What's it going to cost them?
Sure.
How are we going to do that? And, you know, the interesting thing is, you pick a number. Let's say every single live player is going to pay $5 million. I'm picking it randomly off out of the air. And let's say, Danny, of the 54 players, there's 30 players on the LIV Tour that we're going to go on to the PGA Tour and come back and we're going to be united. That's $150 million that the Saudis will probably pay.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
For that unity, right?
Yep.
Players don't have any money out of the pocket. That 150 is going to go back somehow. I have no idea where that's going to go. Maybe it goes into the tournament reserve fund. There's plenty of places. Maybe they play for it and put it in the purses. I don't know. But that money, the PIF isn't even going to – they'd sign off on that if that deal happened tomorrow.
There's a couple of guys I want to ask you about as we talk about wrapping up the PGA Championship from just a week ago. There's always guys that miss the cut, and you go, man, I really wanted to watch him for the full weekend. And the one that stands out, man, Tiger Woods. And
it was brutal, D.
Decent first day. Second day was tough to watch.
And I got to tell you, the first day he gutted it out and shot a score, but he was bad. He just, you know what? There was no consistency to the flow of his game. Danny, it almost looked like he was in protect mode. And, you know, that no one has ever attacked the golf course with more vim and vigor and with better devastating effects than Tiger Woods. And his iron shots were 30, 40 feet from the hole all day. He was hitting a bunch of just uncharacteristic iron shots from Tiger. He just didn't look like he was physically able to do it. And you got to remember, so much was going in his favor. Now, the ground was soft, and that makes it difficult to walk. But Valhalla is much easier course to walk than Augusta, 3-4 times easier. And, Danny, it was probably somewhere between 10 and 15 degrees warmer, which only helps, you know, when you have a bunch of aches and pains.
Yep.
That second round, Danny, Tiger sculled a ball out of the fairway,
out of the
greenside bunker. He was probably 30.
And that was either the first or the second hole that he did that. That's how he got off to that start.
I know, he made triple bogey, and he was probably, had to look like a pretty straightforward bunker shot, hit it right in the forehead, sent it way over the green. Now he's in no man's land. And it just looked like he missed, how many 3-footers did he miss?
Right.
You know, and it just looked like it was unsettled. You just cannot do what he's trying to do and expect anything more than this. You get a grab bag. He didn't even sniff making the cut, D.
Okay, I want to ask you about this as we wrap it up. Victor Hovland, is he the next name now that Schauffele is down and has his major? Is Hovland the next guy you say best player that has not won a major?
100%. I love seeing this kid play. He's back with his coach, Joe Mayo. It doesn't make any sense that he wouldn't be. I know he wasn't loving some of the things that he was doing, but golf is an up and down game. Remember, Danny, every single tour player on the PGA Tour, including Tiger Woods, makes 80% of his prize money in 6 tournaments. It's a streaky game, man. When your putts go in, you finish up on the top of the leaderboard, and 80% of your money is made in 6 events. So I think he's going to live and learn by that. This kid's a ball-hitting machine. He is a ball-hitting machine. You saw him, you know, he 3-putted 18 at Valhalla to shoot 66, I believe, finished third on his own. And, Danny, that's a bogey to a birdie, which is a 3-shot swing. I mean, so his game is hopefully back. We'll get to see when he plays again.
But, Jay, he nearly pulled out of the PGA Championship because of the way that he was playing. He said, I was somewhat embarrassed. I didn't think I would make some cuts. He said, I almost pulled out of the PGA Championship. Then he obviously stays in and almost wins the thing.
I know, it's amazing. And that tells you how, Danny, there are times, and I've been in this hole before, where you think, my game sucks, man. My draws are fading. My fades are drawing. My 3-foot putts are barely lipping in, and I don't have a clue which end is up. And you go out, you get a little feel the first day, you hole a couple putts, and you go, okay, 68, all right, we're okay. You go out the next day, and it's cut time, and you go out and you blow through. That feel stays with you. You hoop a couple more putts, and now all of a sudden you're like, well, hell, man, I'm 25th. Let's go. And all of a sudden, the point is, you're never really as far away as it feels like you are.
Sure.
And the other thing, Danny, it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately, bro, because you think you're on the top of the mountain, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't know where my ball's going.
You're on the other side.
You're on the other side. You're like, well, now I'm back again. My draws are fading, my fades are drawing, and my 3-foot putts are all lipping out. So, yeah, it's difficult. I think Victor's great for the game. I love watching him play. And let's just see how he goes. But he's definitely Patrick Cantlay and Tony Finau, I think we're going to throw Sahith Theegala in there. But he's also very, very young and only in his third year on tour. But these are the guys that are going to be knocking on the door to win more major championships.
Coming up, Tyler Lowenstein. He is the director of fitness from ELV8 Golf. What do you guys get into this week?
Well, we have talked about the training system at ELV8 Golf and how there's this remote component. And what we mean by that is that you don't have to physically be in front of the guys to still maintain and stay on your programs. And so we've got a couple of young ladies that are playing college golf that are ELV8 students and have had some really, really super cool results. And so we're going to walk through that process and have Tyler walk through this process and say, Danny, one of the things that ELV8's doing that is so cool is this initial evaluation. So they're doing your golf game evaluation and a physical evaluation from Tyler. He's the director of fitness. And that is so important because if you notice a discrepancy or a weakness on one side of your body or another, and you have the heart to go ahead and try and work on that a little bit, it can make a difference. And these are we got a couple of examples coming up here today on things that will make a difference. I got to ask you before we go to break, what did you think about the lack of live players relevant at the PGA Championship?
I don't think they look as sharp. I don't. I think
you've been saying that, Danny, for months now.
The one obviously that did was Bryson DeChambeau, almost won the tournament, but even Koepka was in it for a little bit, then trailed off. Some of the other guys that you would think that maybe would be at top of the leaderboard, I also don't think they look as in shape as they once did.
I agree with everything you said. I mean,
physically, I think they look different.
How do you stay sharp? Playing 3 rounds of golf compared to 4.
Jay, it's not only the 3 rounds, but what's your motivation? You got your payday anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's your motivation to go out there and just grind it out? Next week I go play on Live and I'm going to go make $3 million.
Yep.
And I've already got, let's say, 75 in the bank because of this.
Yep. Nope.
I just don't see the motivation for him.
Yep.
And once you lose that edge in sports, it's hard to get that back.
It's not a switch, Danny, is it? It's not a switch where you just go, okay, I'm going to start doing this again. You know who really has been disappointing for me is DJ.
That's the one that comes to mind for me. He's the prime example for me.
Because he was so dominant. Now, I know he's on the other side of 40, and that could make a difference. But still, when you give this guy 3 rounds to play in, he's playing 12 tournaments a year. I agree with you. Like, man, I don't know how sharp is he going to be, because the question needs to be asked: if he doesn't go to Live, does he win the U.S. Open last year?
I'd say yeah.
I mean, it's
a
a hell of a. We could you and I could build a hell of an argument for him
because I could take away one hole.
I know,
and say yes, he was going to win. He took the snowman and then put him out of contention.
Yep. Right, that does that to you.
It's trust me, I found out this past week with you.
Yeah, I remember.
Except I had a bunch of those holes like that.
Those snowmen, we call those something different on tour, but let's stick with snowmen.
Tyler Lowenstein, Director of Fitness, is coming up from Elevate Golf. We'll get into what's happening on the PGA Tour this week with the Charles Schwab Challenge. Also, Kevin Korn, head professional at Innsbruck, doing a great thing, great program with Rankin Jordan. All that and more coming up on this Memorial Day special edition of Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was On the Range. Up next, we'll head to the front nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions.
Doherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. To find out more, visit ascensioncharityclassic.com.
This is the training center, and it's presented by ELV8 Golf and the ELV8 Training System. And I'm with Tyler Lowenstein. Tyler, thanks for joining me this morning.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tyler, I'm pretty excited about this. We have been talking about some of the different facets of ELV8 and the training method that you guys use out here. And one of the things we've talked about, but really haven't been able to develop a lot of, is the remote function. And I think you've got some cool story to tell us about that.
Yeah, I do. I think it's one of the things that's really catching on, and it's been good for a lot of our members. And one of the ladies that I wanted to highlight was a lady by the name of Mia Rallo. She is a sophomore at Central Missouri, golfer on the golf team. And actually her and her sister, who's also a great golfer, came in late November. And I did my fitness assessment on both of them. And the plan was to continue to give them fitness programming while they were away at school. They had a golf coach that they used up there, and they obviously were training with the team, but they weren't doing a lot as far as the fitness side of golf. So really, it worked out great for both of them. They both made huge strides, but I kind of wanted to touch specifically on Mia because I thought she had a lot of cool things from the assessment that I went ahead and retested them 3 or 4 months later, and she had some really eye-popping results.
And Tyler, we're going to get into specifics on this, but folks, what we're talking about here is this assessment that Tyler and their team at ELV8 Golf do for you. It helps try to figure out, am I weak here? Am I too strong here? And what I mean by that, Tyler, a lot of us, as you know, if we're right-hand dominant or right-side dominant, our right side can totally overshadow our left and get our body completely out of imbalance. And it can happen in your legs and in your obliques and everything else, can it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a hard thing to test on yourself, and you may not even be aware of it until you go through an assessment like this.
Tyler, it reminds me back in the old days in the tennis world. I remember looking, I think it was like Rod Laver, who was this Australian great tennis player, and he's left-handed, and his left hand and arm and forearm looked like my leg, and his right looked like, just this normal guy. So this this concept's been around in sport for a long, long time.
Yes, it has. And that's really what I noticed with Mia is, and first off, let me preface this with, she's a great golfer. She was a freshman last year. She won the MIAA Freshman of the Year last year. So she came to me as a great golfer already. And what I noticed on the assessment with her, her biggest goal was that she was having a lot of wrist pain. She actually tore her TFCC cartilage. So it's a piece of cartilage in your wrist. And she couldn't go out and play 18 holes without having pain. She was taking 4 ibuprofen twice a day, just couldn't cut it. So the doc put her in a hard cast for a month. She wasn't able to play golf. Came back after that, was still having a lot of pain. So that was her main goal with me. And that was our focus at first. And what I tested in the wrists were her grip strength with the dynamometer. So it's an objective measure. She squeezes the machine. It tells me how much force she's putting through it. She was about 25% less in her left wrist than her right. Normal is about 5% in your non-dominant wrist. So I immediately got to working on that. She also had restrictions in her wrist flexion and her wrist hinge, which were two other tests that I put her through. From late November to March, she came back to me and said that she was completely out of pain. She was playing 36 holes a weekend, having no pain. Didn't even think about it in her golf swing anymore. So that was the first kind of groundbreaking thing that I've had in one of our members. And it was just all through her fitness programming and her consistency with her daily workouts.
So Tyler, for example, if you come in and you got a bulky back like I do, but you can still turn a little bit and you can still hit it. What we're trying to tell people is there are exercises out there that can take away some of these aches and pains that you've dealt with forever and a lot of times it's because you're not quite as strong as you should be in that area, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then there's other things. There's just performance things where, you feel like, man, I can't get off my right leg, or, I'm having an issue and whatever it may be in the golf swing. And that's what else we discovered on Mia's assessment was that her right glute was much stronger than her left glute. And two tests that we did with her were the single leg balance test. And this is the first one that really popped out to me. I have the player stand on one leg. They raise their other leg, close their eyes, and I time it. Give them 3 tries and see what they can do. PGA norm for that is 16 seconds. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. She had decent balance. Her left was 8.5 seconds, and her right she went on for 30 seconds, and I told her to stop.
Uncle, yeah, you got it. All right.
So then I get to looking a little deeper, and I'm looking at her glute strength with a bridge, and they're good, but again, she was asymmetrical. So her right one was a lot stronger than the left. And I'm talking with her, and she starts talking with her coaches. She notes that she has trouble hanging back in her swing and doesn't finish real well. And again, she's a great golfer, so she's been doing stuff in the swing to get around this. But in the gym, I went ahead and put her in a lot of single leg stance where she's got to put more of her weight on that left leg. And then when she came back to me in March, again, same thing. Now we do that single leg test, and she went from 8.5 seconds to 35 plus.
Wow.
So just evening out the glute strength, the stability strength, probably inherently just switched her ability to do it in her swing without even having to think about it.
Now, Tyler, is she right-handed or left-handed?
She's right-handed. So right-handed. She would get to her right leg in her backswing, but have trouble shifting her weight to the left foot, the lead foot in her.
So it was probably because the right side was stronger and was going to want to do this kind of thrusting and this quick turn motion, and the left wouldn't have been strong enough to handle it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's really cool to see it on the assessment and see kind of the stuff that we've been putting in the gym. And she was there every day, 5 days a week, putting in the work, and she saw the results quick, and she turned out to be the MIAA Golfer of the Year as a sophomore. So.
Funny, was it Jack Nicklaus that said the harder I work, the luckier I get, or one of the greats, and sometimes people look at you and like, what did you do differently? And people have no idea some of the lengths of things that you go through training wise and developing and things like that, and it's a lot of dedication, and it's a lot of lonely days and nights in there.
Yep, you're right.
So Tyler, guys, I'm visiting with Tyler Lowenstein. He is the director. What is your exact title?
Director of Fitness is my title.
Director of Fitness. Okay, great. Director of Fitness. And guys, ELV8 has a full service gym. It is absolutely spectacular. So, Tyler, before we let you go, let's talk just a little bit about how well the high school boys that are training at ELV8 did. Man, there are some really, really nice accomplishments this spring.
Oh, it's been amazing. Every time I look at a leaderboard, I see 4 or 5 names pop up in the top 10. So,
yeah, it was a great year for ELV8. It was a great year just for golf. The poor boys have to play in the springtime here in the Midwest, and it is a bear.
Yes, it is.
Well, Tyler, I want to thank you for jumping on. We can't wait. I really appreciate these little updates. We're going to get them all the time. I know many more are coming, but we appreciate you and what you're doing at ELV8 Golf, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
That was the Front Nine. Up next, we'll make the turn. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by CarShield.
Tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker. Well, get ready to experience better golf with ELV8 Golf. At ELV8 Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at ELV8 Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at ELV8golf.com. That's ELV8golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Making the Turn. Making the Turn is presented by Family Golf and Learning Center. For the kids and adults who love the game of golf, look no further than Family Golf and Learning Center. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Always fun to hear from Tyler Lowenstein, Director of Fitness from ELV8 Golf. And coming up in a little bit, joining us on this Memorial Day, it'll be Kevin Korn, head professional at Innsbruck. Great program at Rankin, Jordan with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. And let's tip our cap, and I know that pertains to what we're going to do with Kevin Korn, which is talking about the great kids and the great things that are offered at Rankin, Jordan.
Absolutely. The tip of the cap is brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. Folks, any sort of vehicle, I know it says Volkswagen of Kirkwood, they can get you any sort of vehicle. Colin Burnt over there is dear friend and a great guy, and we're tipping our cap to Rankin Jordan, and we're tipping our cap to they're a pediatric bridge hospital, Danny, where they are making such differences in families' lives, where these kids have these very complicated medical issues, and they go from a big hospital like Barnes or Mobap or wherever, Cardinal Glennon, and they go to Rankin Jordan, where they're healing and trying to get better so they can go home and start living parts of their life. And, you know, Danny, when I think you have your great tournament for special needs kids and you start thinking about what we have for children in St. Louis, and we take a backseat to no one. With Children's Hospital, with Cardinal Glennon, you've got Mercy, we've got Shriners. It says a lot about the community, and this is also, you have 4 children, I have 4 children. It's one of those things, D, you hope you never need.
Tip of the cap is brought to you by
the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood and our buddy Colin Burnt at 314-966-0303.
Do you like this stop on the PGA Tour? They're wrapping up the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. How about that?
It's a great old course that I didn't personally. It didn't suit my eye that well. I played there several times. I had a couple of decent finishes. When I got on tour, Pavin used to win down there every other year. You know, he loved it, and I was like, man, I'm really excited again. It just did not suit my eye. It was par 70. It's called Hogan's Alley. It's got one of the coolest things, Danny. You stand up on the tee. I got to tell you another story that's comes to mind when I think of this. You stand on the first tee, and it's probably the easiest hole in the golf course. It's a reachable par 5, and just on the right is this wall of fame, and it's got all these little caricatures and these plaques of Hogan and all these famous players. Super cool. But one of the cool things they do at Colonial Country Club for the players that week is they have this beautiful food and they have it in the evening, which is unusual. Okay, and I don't even know if they still do it. You play in the morning, but no, I mean, it would carry on. So if you're sitting in your hotel room and go, hey, man, I'm kind of hungry, you go up to the club and eat. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have it in the Ben Hogan room, and I am hanging out with Craig Stadler, who's just a great guy. And they've got this beautiful spread of food and mashed potatoes and salad and vegetables. And then at the end, they've got this huge thing of beef. I mean, it is massive. And I'm at the end, and I'm loading my plate up, and I was still eating red meat at the time, so I'm going to get some of that. And I look at my boy Stads, who skips all of the greens, and he goes right to the end, and he says to the chef, he says, can you flip it over and cut me about 2 inches off the bottom? He goes, I love all that. And he goes, the chef goes, that's my favorite too. And I'm like, ooh, it's had all of the fat and the drippings. And so I got my plate loaded up. It's all colors and all this salad and all this other stuff. I got my piece of meat on the side. Stats has got one thing on his plate. And it is a hunk of meat. And we sit down and we're talking about something, and I go up and get a drink, and I come back. She gone. Totally gone. I said, stats. He goes, my favorite. It was so good.
He seemed like such a character.
Really a character.
Yeah.
Yep, really a character. He and he won the Masters 1980. I was a sophomore sophomore junior in college. He wins the Masters.
Amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Hey, when you think of Ben Hogan, what comes to mind? For a guy that played 30 years on the PGA Tour and his standing within the tour and with the history of the game, the players, comes to mind for you?
Well, first of all, great champion. And his story is remarkable because, Danny,
sure is.
He fought the hooks his entire life. And the term digging it out of the dirt comes from Ben Hogan, who just started maneuvering different stuff around in his swing to try to find a way to not hook. And boy, did he, right? So your hat's off to that. What I think about the most is Ben was the first guy, Danny, to come up with a standard for what the lofts of your irons look like and what the lie angles look like. So let me explain what those are. The loft is pretty straightforward. You look down, your 5-iron has got my 5-iron has 32 degrees of loft on it, okay? Ben Hogan was the first one to realize that he wanted all of those to be stepped so that they're 4 degrees apart or so that he would have some sort of ordinary spacing between his irons. So that's a 10 or 12, you typically want somewhere around a 10 or 12 yard gap. So, when you say you're in between clubs, that means if my 8-iron goes 150 and my 7-iron goes 165 and I got 158 yards, I'm dead smack between 7 and 8. So I can hit a hard 8, easy 7, whatever that is. Ben Hogan was the first guy to do that. And Danny, when I was a kid, I don't know, from the 70s on, I bought my first set of clubs that I ever bought was a old Ben Hogan Apex blades. I bought them from Mr. Bob Cochran Sr., who was a great champion and a really cool guy, and he sold them to me for $50 out of the trunk of his car. And I remember looking at those and going, wow, those look different to me than the other clubs I had. And what's happened now, Danny, is that and it started with Eli Callaway and the Callaway Golf Company. They've blown up the Hogan standard.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I knew exactly, I carried around a piece of paper exactly what my specs were. Now, a lie angle is how upright or flat it is. So that's how the shaft enters the neck of the club, Danny. And if you're a tall guy, it's going to be a little more upright. If you're a shorter guy like Gary Player, it's going to be a little flatter, right? And so what winds up happening is, you can bend those necks of the irons to fit your size and shape shot and body shape and everything. Eli Callaway comes along, and I'll never forget this. We were in college, and James Garner, the great actor who used to be on Rockford Files, and the young folks listen to this will have no idea who this guy is. He was a massive UCLA supporter, and he would come out and talk to us all the time. Friday nights he'd talk, because we got to play on Mondays and Fridays, and he goes, guys, you got to check this out. And he just started hitting balls off this little practice area, and he said, I just get look at how far I'm hitting these. And I look down, and I'm like, that says 5-iron, but it looks like my 4.
Right.
And I was like, and he's like, nope, these are different heads. And I'm like, nope, there's just less loft.
Mm-hmm.
And what Callaway did was he could say these are longer irons.
Interesting.
Because he changed the standard loft on them. And Danny, nowadays, the kids that are swinging a 9-iron, that loft used to be my 8.
Is that right?
It is a full club. It is almost moved 4 degrees.
That's amazing.
These kids are super long. They swing faster. They're stronger, in better shape, better looking than all of us.
Don't say that.
Whatever.
Give us some credit here.
But D, they changed it. And when I think about Ben Hogan, I'm like, Ben, they changed your stuff, man. It's so interesting. But when you go, so I went and got a new set of clubs last year. I had my knee done, and between my new set of clubs and my new knee, I picked up almost 15 yards per club, which threw me right back into where I was when I was playing all the time. It's just crazy. But I looked down at my 7, I'm like, kind of looks like a 6 to me, but I'll go ahead and hit it anyway.
So you bought clubs out of a trunk of a car? What are you talking about here?
Oh, yeah. Bob Cochran Sr., I was caddying over at Norwood, and Ed Griffiths, who was the head pro at the time, said, you need to meet Mr. Cochran. He's been a great champion. I don't know if he ever won the U.S. Amateur, Danny, but he was one of those lifetime amateur players that was always up there and played well in national events and things like that. And so he asked me to play with him one time, and he said, man, I don't know about those clubs you got. And I'm like, I was playing with whatever I had. I think there might have been my mom's.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, this is what I had.
You swing the club. What's the difference? Right?
D, it's like you don't know you're poor until you get out there, and you're like, ooh. Like, so I remember kids giving me trouble, like, dude, how'd you get red woods? I'm like, I don't know. I got red woods. What do you care?
Right.
Like those are girls. I'm like, no, they're not.
Well, you're still beating their ass. So
I know.
Who cares?
I was playing with girls clubs, but anyway, he goes, hey, listen, I got a set of clubs. I'll give them to you for $50. I go, when? Honestly, Mr. Cochran, win. He goes, I'll bring them up tomorrow. So I had $50. I peeled off, 2 20s and a 10, and I got a brand new set of clubs. They weren't new. He used them a little bit, but they were new for me, and I still have them.
Do you really?
I gave away 27 sets of clubs to the first tee years ago, but I kept those because I thought, hell, I'll just keep these. I look at them.
Sentimental.
Danny, they have a 1-iron in this set. I look down in there, and I'm not a nervous guy in general. I'm like, ooh, that makes me a little anxious. There's no face on that thing, man.
Did you hit it much?
All the time.
Did you really?
Oh, I loved it because I could at least find it.
Yeah.
Like when I hit my driver, maybe I'd find it, maybe I wouldn't, but it was going long.
Yeah.
My 1-iron, I could usually keep it between the trees. Not always in the fairway, but I could keep it between the trees.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's Golf with Jay Delsing here on 101 ESPN on this Memorial Day weekend. Always fun to talk golf, and we're going to talk golf with the head professional at Innsbruck. That's Kevin Korn. Really special program he's involved with at Rankin, Jordan. That's coming up. This is presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
Making the Turn was brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you. Up next, we head to the back nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Reese Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all. PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching. And now open, the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or cards or blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from, or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
This is the Back Nine. The Back Nine is brought to you by Car Shield. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on this Memorial Day weekend on 101 ESPN with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin, coming to you from the Car Shield Studios, as always presented by Darty Business Solutions. On the line, we have the head professional at Innsbruck and a great program that he's running at Rankin, Jordan. That's Kevin Korn. Kevin, happy Memorial Day, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy Memorial Day to you, Danny. I appreciate you having me on.
So, Kevin, for people that don't know, you've been a PGA of America member, your whole career. How long has that been?
I got my Class A certification with PGA on August 28th of 98. So this is my 26th year now.
Man, that's a lot of headaches over the years.
It sure is. And Kevin, the work you do at the PGA of America, and what Danny and I talk about all the time, is that guys like you, the men and women that are boots on the ground, taking care of running tournaments like we talked about that you're doing today at Innsbruck and during the week, and you guys do that sort of stuff every single day. And my hat's off to you, but we want to talk and shine a little more awareness on the work that you're doing at the Children's Bridge Hospital in Rankin, Jordan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And it seems like every day at a golf course, there's some type of a group that we're working with, whether it's a small 16, 20 player group, or today we had 68, and we just finished a week ago. We had, your traditional charity event with 120 players. So, there's always something, and we stay busy doing a little bit of everything, as you guys well know. But yeah, my favorite day every week is always Wednesdays. Getting to go spend time with the kids at Rankin Jordan and see their smiles and hear them laughing and get them swinging golf clubs and hitting golf balls and having fun with them.
What is a Wednesday like? Describe it.
It's an hour to hour and a half with the kids, regardless of their medical conditions, challenges, because all the kids at Rankin Jordan are medically complex. So we could have kids coming to golf laying in their hospital beds, on ventilators, with feeding tubes and wheelchairs, with prosthetics, you name it. And a lot of times a combination of all those things. And regardless of what they're facing, we get them hitting golf balls.
Kev, I've been over there with you and watched you do your thing, and it's just remarkable. And for people that don't know, Rankin Jordan is considered a bridge hospital, right? It's usually the kids have gone from a major hospital where they've had serious procedures done where they go to Rankin Jordan before they can go home. That's the kind of the way I understand it.
Yeah, it's there for those children who have reached the point in their healing process where they won't get any better in the big hospitals, but they still have plenty of healing to do. And as Dr. Nick Holkamp likes to say in a lot of his speeches, or if you spend time talking to him, it's the job of the big hospitals to save the lives of the children. It's the job of everybody at Rankin Jordan to give those children their lives back. They do a wonderful job of finding whatever it is that connects with each individual child and utilizing that in their therapy program and their rehab program. And you're really showing the kids in so many different ways what they can do versus just keep telling them they can't do something.
Well, Kevin, I mean, when you look at the smiles that this game brings to their faces, whether, like you said, they're sitting on the edge of the hospital bed, whether they are able to get up and stand, it doesn't even matter. The fact that the way that you engage them, the way that you bring them, maybe it's a plastic golf club, it's not even a real golf club, but the fact that they get to swing, they get to hit, they get to get that sensation and feel, it's gotta help so much in their journey to get back to some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, and it's interesting that last word used there, Jay, with normalcy. And we use real golf clubs all the time. It's always U.S. Kids Junior clubs that we use, and unless on those rare occasions we have a child who's tall enough and strong enough to use the standard length men's or ladies clubs. But we use the U.S. Kids clubs, and they've been such wonderful supporters from day one. John Bryan and everybody there, who the folks in St. Louis, the old time golf folks may recognize JB's names. He was from St. Louis and was actually the second executive director for the Gateway PGA. Many years ago, but they've been fantastic. And early on, I wasn't really sure if those clubs were the right ones to use, just because of the various angles and whatnot, how things need to be adjusted for kids in wheelchairs or beds or whatever it may be. But early on, probably the first summer or so that we were working with the kids, I had a mother come to me and ask about buying the clubs that her son was using, and he was in a wheelchair. And I explained to her that she could get them through the U.S. Kids website or at in their local golf shop or Golf Galaxy or wherever they could buy golf clubs and equipment. And she looked at me and starts crying. And she said, "You mean these clubs my son's using are normal?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. They're just standard specs." And she keeps crying. She goes, "That's the first time in my son's life he's used anything normal."
Wow.
And at that point, I knew that even though we could probably have flatter lie angles for the clubs, we were using the right thing.
Kevin Korn is our guest, head professional at Innsbruck, also great program at Rankin Jordan. Describe what happens when a kid on a Wednesday afternoon comes to you and all of a sudden you put that golf club in your hand. What are some of the things that you're able to do?
Most importantly, make them smile and make them feel like a child again. That's first and foremost, and has been the number one goal of the program since we started, just over 13 years ago now. We've had a couple of boys who picked up clubs for the first time laying in a hospital bed, had never touched a club before they came to Rankin Jordan and ended up playing golf for their high schools. And we've seen so many amazing things, over the years through the golf program. But week in and week out, the most important thing is seeing the kids smile, seeing them laughing, seeing them interacting with each other, getting those social benefits from it. And just like this past Wednesday, one of our boys who's been a regular for the last several months needed to finish off a little bit of his therapy, and that included standing up. So rather than hit balls from his wheelchair, we had him stand up, and he needed to do about 10 more minutes of therapy. He ended up standing for 30 minutes. While he's hitting golf balls, he doesn't feel like he's doing his therapy. And he just kept on hitting and smiling and having fun and trying to hit me, which is fantastic. And that's the kid's favorite thing to do, I believe. So it was a good time. And when you can see how golf can be used to improve the lives of the kids there and be used as a healing tool, it's absolutely the most rewarding thing I've done in this business.
Oh my gosh, it is, folks. If you have never been to Rankin, Jordan, Google this hospital, check them out online, and get involved, and we'll let you know how to do that a little later. Kevin, how many years have you been doing this with Rankin Jordan on Wednesdays?
Just over 13. May 10, 2011 was our first junior golf clinic, and it's been rolling 52 weeks a year ever since.
And how did it come about? Please tell our listeners how you got the idea and what it all looked like.
There was an article I saw in PJ Magazine about a similar program at Texas Scottish Rite in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I'm thinking to myself, we've got overall the best pediatric healthcare in the country in St. Louis. So we should do something like that here. And I talked to one of the doctors at the club I was at the time, and he actually happened just to walk in the shop as I was putting down that magazine after reading the article. And I said, hey, I want to do this here. Which one of the 5 hospitals would be the best option? Between Glennon, Children's, Shriners, Mercy, and Rankin Jordan. And he was explaining the difference between the 5 to me, and said Rankin Jordan be ideal. And his wife actually worked there at the time. So he set up through her a meeting for me, and I went in and spoke to Janine Rowe, who at the time was the community programs director there. And we went from, like 2 minutes of me trying to pitch this idea to she and I then brainstorming on how we could get it approved and started and what that was all going to take and whatnot. And then when I left that first meeting there with her, I called Josh Riley, who was our section executive director at the time, and said, hey, Josh, here's what I want to do. Would the section get involved? And we had just started our foundation at that point. This was before PGA Reach came along with the senior PGA a couple years later. And between Josh and Ozzy, they made sure that the section got involved and supported and got us everything we needed to get up and running with it.
How emotional does it get on these Wednesdays? What is it like?
Baby.
Surprisingly, not much. That was one thing I was wondering when the first few sessions I'm going in there, and how was I going to react? Because seeing 6 children is difficult. I think anybody that's got any type of a heart would tell you that it's challenging to see children who are sick and facing these incredibly difficult challenges. But the place in general is so uplifting and happy that you can't help but smile and have a good time when you're there. I can tell you, there've been plenty of tears for good reasons. Somehow I've been able to keep the kids from seeing me cry. But I remember one time, and I was just telling the story here recently. I was giving a tour to some new folks that came to see the hospital, and we got to the pool, and I was describing to them watching a young lady who stood the week prior for the first time after having both of her legs amputated. And I was there when she did that, and then a week or so later, watched her taking her first steps in the indoor pool there at Rankin. I told them, something like that doesn't bring about tears, then you may want to check your pulse.
Oh, Kevin, it's unbelievable. When I think of the hospital, Kevin, one of the things that sticks out in my mind that they do such a cool job of is the colors. You talk about this hospital as a happy place, and it really, really is. They've done a great job with these vibrant colors that just kind of add and inject life into every single room. And, Rankin Jordan also uses golf to raise money, because I do know that they have their own specific charitable golf tournament. I believe it's still over at Norwood, and it's another way that this great game is providing, more monies for great causes.
Yeah, and we actually have changed it. This was the first year we flipped the dates on it, so we weren't able to have a traditional golf tournament this year. It's been at Norwood for the last, probably 15 plus years. But because we changed the dates and went from a late summer event to a late spring, we ended up having it this past week at Top Golf. And that was a wonderful success. We had about 200 people there, and had the coolest part of it. And this is where the golf fan in me really comes out. And I'm sure that the two of y'all are very similar to me, that my favorite shots every year on the PGA Tour are the ceremonial starter shots at Augusta National. And so we do the same thing at the Rankin Jordan tournament. We have either 2 or 3 patients, and in this case it was 3 this year, come and hit the ceremonial tee shots to get us started.
Kevin, over at Ascension, we did something similar to that with the kids hitting some of the first shots. Danny, was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
It was super cool.
Yeah, it just so quickly drives home why everybody's there. Because we can sit and tell stories or share videos or pictures or whatever, and you raise people's understanding with everything they see or hear, but until they see the children in front of them, that's what really resonates and shows them quickly that this is why you're doing what you're doing. I'm always thinking, how can I do more? Because these kids need and should get everything, and that's always my thing, is how can I do more for them?
And I'm sure there's people that are listening to this wondering, how do I get involved? So what's the best way to get involved, Kevin?
The quickest way is just to visit the Rankin Jordan website, rankinjordan.org. We'll show you the various programs and events coming up, and ways that you can get involved, whether it be attending one or straight donation or coming to the hospital for a tour. They're always welcoming of new folks to come and see the property. And I challenge anybody that goes there for the first time to feel at any point like they're actually in a hospital. Because you don't. The children are out of their beds, or out of their rooms. They're out of their beds if they can be. They're wearing their own clothes. You never really feel like you're in a hospital as long as you're there.
Well, we love hearing that. And Kevin, we love the work that you're doing, and can't say thank you enough from the kids that you're helping. I'm sure the families that you're helping and all the folks over at Rankin Jordan. It's just awesome stuff. Thanks for doing this.
Very much. I appreciate it, Danny and Jay. Great to talk to you guys always.
You too.
Keep going, brother. Keep doing your thing.
That's Kevin Korn, the head professional at Innsbruck. Great program at Rankin Jordan. And make sure you get involved and find out more. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, coming to you from the Car Shield Studios and presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
That was the Back Nine, presented by Elevate Golf. Get your golf game in shape with Elevate Golf.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Car Shield and Daugherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf-related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, rated as the #1 golf show in the Midwest. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Welcome back to Golf with Jay Delsing, coming to you from the Car Shield Studios, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Boy, that is amazing stuff that Kevin Korn, the head professional at Innsbruck, is doing, and he's doing God's work, man, working with those kids that need help, doing it at Rankin, Jordan. And we have a tip of the cap segment that we always do, but we're going to do it again. I mean, let's tip our cap to what Kevin has done and what he continues to do to help out kids in our community.
100%. I mean, Danny, I've been over there with Kevin on a Wednesday, and folks, he is doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He loves the game. He loves growing the game. We share so many similar things like that. So the tip of the cap is brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. Kevin Korn, we're tipping our cap to you, buddy. We're appreciating you. Take your time on a Wednesday, going over there and teaching those kids how to hold a golf club, swing a golf club. I think it's a riot that you said that the kids love to try to hit balls at you. You know, you got to put a little target on your back and go over there and brighten up the day of some sick kids, man. We just really appreciate you. That's super, super cool. And it's another thing about the game, Danny, that, you know, here's a guy, Kevin Korn. He's been doing this he's been a PGA professional for over 26 years. And here's a guy, he's not doing this to get his name in the paper. He's not doing this to get on our show. He didn't call us and say, hey, look at me. I mean, you know, that is selfless. And even if he just touches one family and one child over there, man, that is super, super cool.
It was amazing to me that he said that kids had graduated and gone on to play high school golf. How cool is that?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Dan, I've seen some of those kids over there, and they're a long, long
Tough
way
situations,
from walking like a normal kid in high school. So, but listen, one of the coolest things about medicine is that this stuff has changed so much, Danny, even from 10 years ago, you know, so they're coming, thank God for smart people, not like me. And I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but you're way smarter than I am.
No, you can do that.
So
I was going to do it myself.
But think about that, dude. So these guys are coming up with all of these different treatments and for all the folks that donate money to cancer research and anything to raise money for kids, because Danny, it could have gone a lot of different ways for you and I, and we got extremely lucky to get to chase what we wanted to do and maybe even accomplish some of the things we had hoped to do as little kids. We got pretty damn lucky.
We sure did. There's a couple things I want to throw at you.
Yeah.
Some news and notes before we get into, I think it'd be interesting. We talk about getting fitted for clubs, and you mentioned clubs earlier.
Yeah.
And buying those out of the trunk of a car and not being properly fitted, but didn't matter.
They didn't have a fitting system back in the day.
It didn't matter back in the day, but we get a lot of questions in the mailbag about that, so we're going to do a little bit about that here in this segment. But I do want to throw this at you. Mark Flaherty resigned from the PGA Tour Policy Board. Let's start with this. What does the PGA Tour Policy Board do?
So the PGA Tour Policy Board it used to consist of independent player directors. So that would have been Jimmy Dunn. That would have been Mark Flaherty. That would have been Ed Hurley, guys like that. Victor Gans was a guy that was on it all the time when I was playing, and those guys are there to help the PGA Tour with their business decisions. And Danny, this is invaluable. I laughed. I sent some garbage out into the Twitter world or X world last week because they were talking about how the players need to run the PGA Tour. No, they can these guys will help make these decisions. They'll help present situations. Danny, I've been in these meetings. They're fantastic. You get these smart people that have run multi-million-dollar corporations from around the world, and they have vast experiences. They love golf. Some of them aren't even getting paid, and they do this because of the love of the game, and they want to contribute. And so they will say to us, listen, here's this money. Is one of the things we had to do, D, when I was sitting on the advisory council, was we had to decide. We had an extra $12 million. What do? I said, we give it to the players. We give it to the players. How are we going to give it to the players? Let's create some way that the players can go ahead and earn that money in some. So we created this thing that if you stayed in the top 125, there were different partitions along the top 125 that you got a bonus at the end of the year. It's like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came up with this idea. It actually went through. And so these player directors are there to assist. They're there to help decipher. They're there to help the players to not harm themselves. Because, Danny, we don't want, as much as I love Tiger Woods, I don't want Tiger making those decisions
so
on
you're
the
talking
business
about more,
world.
You want business people.
These are 100%.
Yeah.
Now, I love having Tiger sit at the end of the table and have Ed Hurley explain to him, here's what this deal is. And then you've also got a commissioner in there, and you also have Adam Scott, and you also have Patrick Cantlay, and you've got Webb Simpson, and you've got Peter Malnati, and those guys, they're all sitting there, and they're deciphering what to do, and then they're making golf decisions based on these guys' recommendations. It's absolutely a great system. It is super beneficial to anybody that's a member of the tour, anybody that cares about the tour. It makes my skin crawl when I hear players wanting to run an organization. None of them have owned businesses, Danny. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and you're going to have that's not what we wanted. So that's what those guys do.
Nelly Korda has won now 6 times in her past 7 events. Man, is she on fire right now. It's just, I don't think it's getting enough attention for what she's done, but 6 out of the last 7, she's dominating the LPGA Tour.
I totally agree with you. I've been trying to reach her and her people to try to get her on. We're not having much luck, but I'm not going to give up. Somewhere along the line we'll get through. But she's gotten her game, Danny, to a different level. And you know what part of her game she got to a different level? Her mental side. To me, it looks so obvious. She's so much calmer. Now, winning makes you pretty calm. Confidence makes you pretty calm. But you can run through a bunch of different scenarios in your head and make yourself nervous in 20 seconds if you start thinking the wrong way. And I saw a lot of that when she was a younger woman playing there. She's incredibly gifted. I've said this a million times before. I don't believe I've ever seen anyone who was meant to swing a golf club more than Nelly Korda. First of all, she's a beautiful woman. Second of all, she's an unbelievable athlete. Third of all, she's extremely powerful. Fourth of all, she's got an incredible touch. You put those things together and it's a model. It is absolutely a model. When I saw Tiger come out after he started working with Butch, and I thought, this is pretty much the way it's supposed to be right here. But when you look at Nelly, and she's tall and long-limbed and it's, Danny, it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks almost poetic to me.
Doesn't the women's swing look better than a men's swing?
100%.
Yeah.
And we've told this, who was I talking to the other day? We were you and I were having lunch. I was going to say we were at the golf course, but that'd be too normal. We were having lunch, and I got up. I think I was grabbing us a couple of drinks or something, and a guy said to me, "Hey, can I ask you a golf question?" I'm like, "Yeah, fire away, man. I'm getting ready to go have lunch with my buddy D over here." And he said, "I enjoy watching the LPGA," and I let him go, and I said, "Buddy, 100%. These women are so technically sound, and they're swinging at speeds that are more relatable to the public because the men are throwing, almost 200 mile per hour ball speeds. That's not relatable. But watch those women play the golf courses, watch the way they play and play to their strengths, and it's absolutely beautiful. And those gals are not hitting driver wedge on every hole, Danny, like the men are.
Some of these kids, and then they turn into young women, and they're on the LPGA tour, have swing coaches, they're homeschooled, all that stuff. Did Nelly go through that too? I don't know if she did. I don't. That's a great question. I don't remember seeing her in college golf. I don't think she did. I know her older sister Jessica turned pro before her and won on there, and she's absolutely spectacular as well. She's just not quite that. Nelly's got. Don't let that beautiful face and body and all that golf swing fool you. She's got pit bull in her, Danny. she gets a sniff of that championship, and she'll run right through you. Isn't it amazing that these kids, men and women, when they're young boys, young girls, Jay, I mean, you went and you were toting bags at Norwood and got a scholarship to go to UCLA and worked hard at it in high school. These kids now, it starts when they're 5 years old. They're homeschooled, swing coaches, and playing golf 24/7. It's like they join the Army. Except it's the golf army. It's incredible. And, Danny, you can't talk about the LPGA Tour without talking about the South Koreans. They're so dominant. I was talking and having a cocktail with Julie Inkster, which a shout out to Julie because she's one of the best human beings in the whole world. But sitting at a bar with Julie Inkster is like you and I sitting at a bar talking, watching the NFL. There's a lot of fun vocabulary that's going on, and her perspective is just lovely. And she talks about how these young women are regimented from early ages, like you're saying, 4, 5, 6 years old. No, you're hitting 100 balls today. You're doing this today. And it's unbelievable when woman after woman after woman comes from Korea, and you're like, who's this one? Who's that? Yeah. Wow, she just won the Women's U.S. Open. It just goes on. And these girls just keep coming. Julie told me that for the Solheim Cup, so that's the women's version of the Ryder Cup, Danny, if they wanted to do a world Solheim Cup, that South Korea, we could do South Korea versus the world, and the world would probably not win until we got to South Korea's third or fourth team. Is that right? That's what she said. Wow. They are so deep. And it's funny, you think about what Siri Pak did in the very late 90s. I think it was 97, 98 when she came over. And what's happening now, you want to talk about setting the golf world on fire over there. She did it. Yep. Became the face of it, very much like Tiger here in the United States. I remember that. It was incredible. It was incredible. And I remember her winning the Women's U.S. Open. I was like, wow, who is this woman? And she crushes it. Little bitty thing, too, And you know what Nelly going back to Nelly Corder, kind of put a bow on this, Danny. When we talked to Nancy Lopez, and you and I are standing next to Nancy Lopez, she comes across as this sweet little thing. She's got this beautiful smile, and she's so courteous, respectful. And then you think about, her getting out there, and she just wants to drill you. Yeah. She just wants to go ahead and whoop you and stand over and, shake your hand, smile, and go, I just beat you. And that's kind of how Nelly Corda is, too. She's got a lot of fire. That's Jay. I'm Dan. We said we were going to get into it this segment. We'll push it back to the next segment, but a lot of people email us and get into the mailbag about club fitting. What is it like? Why I should do it? We'll dive into that. It's the mailbag coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
We're heading into the clubhouse, and it's time to go into the mailbag. Tips from a PGA Tour player are coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Darty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Darty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Darty Business Solutions.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or cards or blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from, or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's biggest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Langer, Ernie Els, and more will return September 3rd through the 8th at Norwood Hills. All tournament proceeds go to area charities serving North St. Louis County youth and families. Sponsorship opportunities, pro-am foursomes, and more information available for you at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
heading into the clubhouse, and it's time to go into the mailbag. Tips from a PGA Tour player are coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Heading down the stretch on Golf with Jay Delsing. It's been a fun program. We had Kevin Korn, the head professional at Innsbruck, as well as Tyler Lowenstein, the director of fitness at ELV8 Golf, and now we jump into the mailbag. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. And let's jump into the mailbag with this. We kind of teased it. We're going to talk about getting fitted for clubs. Let's start with this, Jay. Why is it important to get fitted?
Well, listen, folks, you do not just next time you're in the grocery store, next time you're in a crowd, just look around and look how differently we are all built. We have different arm lengths, different leg lengths. Some guys are barrel chested, some are thin. We've got different heights. This is not one size fits all. It's like buying a set of clubs off the rack, Danny, would be the equivalent of buying a non-fitted ball cap that you don't change. Like, well, it's too tight, but I'm just going to jam it on my head anyway. That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to get you fitted because we've got to get equipment that not only matches your body shape and your body type, but your swing speed. Some folks don't ever swing more than 85 miles an hour. That's totally fine. Other guys can get up around 100. That makes a difference. And then the other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that you don't have a bunch of funky gaps until you get to, say, 195 to 200 yards away from the hole. And what I mean by that is we want to have you covered in there for various amounts of distances. And that's why fitting, and let's talk about this, Steve, because that's why fitting is so important. You know, we mentioned Ben Hogan and the Ben Hogan standard. The reason that was important is that he didn't want to have, say, his 9-iron would go 130 yards and his 8-iron go 150 yards. That's too big a gap. He wanted to have this graduated system in there so that, you know, I'm going to take a little off an 8 and it's going to go right in between an 8 and a 9. Then I'm going to hit, you know, this, and it's going to get me in between these gaps. You want to make it as easy as possible to just swing and hit a shot than trying to change and adapt on every single different yardage that you get.
So somebody's saying, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get club fitted this week. What happens? So you meet with the guy or the gal that's going to do this.
Yeah, and you bring your entire set with you.
Okay.
Bring your clubs with you, bring your shoes with you, and you're going to get on this super cool piece of equipment. It's either going to be a GC quad or a TrackMan, flight scope. There's several different, but what it's going to do is it's going to start measure you. So what you're going to do is they're probably going to put little sensors on your club. There's probably some on the balls already, just depending on the equipment that they have. And then you hit. And then you hit and you watch what happens. And it'll take you 3 or 4 swings, and the man or woman that you're with is going to say, oh, so do you typically hit this sort of ball shape and ball flight? And you're going to go 99 times out of 100, go, yep, my ball slices, it just goes left to right, and that's what it does. And he's going to go through different clubs. You'll start with probably a 7-iron, and you'll go to maybe a hybrid or something, and maybe a 3-wood, and then some drivers, and you'll hit. And you'll probably hit 4, 5, 6 balls a shot. And then, because of that information, Danny, they're going to know where to go next. And I couldn't possibly begin to give you enough of all of the different computations and how it works. But what it's going to look like is that if, let's say, your swing speed is between 75 and 85 miles per hour, you're going to need this sort of collection of shafts. Now, there's way more than 1 or 2. There's hundreds. Literally hundreds. And so why is that significant? Because we need to find out how you flex the club, and with the way that you transfer weight and the way that you swing, that all matters. And we're going to need a shaft that's going to load up as much as it possibly can to deliver the most effective use of your force down at the ball. It sounds way complicated. It's not. Not for the pros, not for the men and women that do this all the time. They're going to look at your swing and they're going to go, whoa, Danny Mac, You got good speed with, like if we did your driver, put you on your driver, they're going to say, does your miss a hook? You're going to say yes. Do you typically hit a good one that goes 270 yards down the middle? You're going to say yes. And they're going to go, okay, cool. Here's what we're going to do for you. And oftentimes they'll come over with 2 or 3 different options. And they'll say, Danny, I want you to, and they'll put you in a, let's say a Callaway AI smoke, because that's the latest and greatest that's got artificial intelligence used in designing this head. And they're going to say, Danny, hit this ball. And you're going to go, what's it going to tell me to do? And if I'm the guy that's a woman, I'm going to say, don't worry about it. Just put your swing on it. I don't want you thinking it's going to spin the ball more. I don't want you thinking you're not going to be able to hook it, because then you might try to hook it. I just want you to hit. Just hit. Let's see. Because then you make a swing and it comes up on the screen, and then your numbers come up on the screen. And so, guys, there's optimum numbers for every single club in the bag. With your driver, we want to keep you under 3,000. And this is going to be way more information than you need to know, but I'm just going to tell you. We don't want your driver to spin too much. If it spins too much, it goes too high and it doesn't go far enough. And you can make a beautiful swing with the wrong shaft and it'll spin too much and it'll cost you distance. That's why getting fitted, Danny, with the driver is so important, because look, our buddy Joe is getting fitted, and just he realized that he's still in stiff shafts. He's 67 years old, and it's too much club for him. He put him in a softer shaft, put him on the machine, and all of a sudden he was hitting every iron about 10 yards further than he was currently. And that's because it's not that what he had is bad, it's incorrect for where he is now. 10 years ago when Joe bought those clubs, they were probably perfect. Now he's aged a little bit, doesn't quite turn as well or whatever. Maybe he has too many ice cream cones the night before he goes to bed. Who the hell knows?
Those ice cream
he
cones.
loves those ice cream cones. Anyway, the point is we need to get the correct thing in play. And there's going to be possibilities. Like they'll give you 1 or 2 or even 3 different varieties for you to, and there'll be one that you might go, wow, I want this one. It feels so good. And you look up and that ball is flying the way that it's meant to fly. And that's important. Another thing that's super important is that you may have an older set of clubs and you may have these gaps in your short irons. We want to eliminate those so that, let's say you have a 60-degree wedge that's your highest lofted club in your bag. Okay, we use that every time we're within 80 yards of the green and in. Okay, that's what we use there. Now we want to back this up, Danny, and make sure that you have a club for 95, that you have a club for 108, that you have a club with. That's what fitting does. It graduates the loft angles of your irons so that you make a good swing. That ball's going to go the distance that you want, and the shaft, the head, the lie angle, all that stuff is what they're taking into account.
For an amateur, how low do you go with the irons? Do you stop at a 5? Do you stop at a 4? What do you think is the typical amateur that they have to use?
I would say a 5 iron's questionable, and here's why. Look, my dad was, he was an athlete, and he would not let go of his 3 iron. And I'm like, Dad, that's insane. You can't hit I love it. I'm not getting rid of my 3 iron. So I bought him a 7 wood. I bought him a 5 wood. And he hit those, but he kept his 3 iron in the bag too, just because he wanted to piss me off. And it was absolutely great. What I would say is, depending on what your skill level is, how well do you hit that 5 iron? Forget a 4, forget a 3. Let's go into some hybrid clubs. Let's start talking about 5 woods and hybrids. They're way more forgiving. The way they're designed, Danny, especially the hybrids, they're built to help you get the ball in the air, which is everything when you get to that end of the club. Think about how hard it is to hit a darn 4 iron. It's just hard to hit a 4 iron. And so let's go in and let's use technology to work in our advantage. Now, you've got to pay attention to the numbers on those hybrids, because we want to get your gaps right there too. Can they get a little longer and maybe be 15-yard difference between the two? Yes, of course they can. Those are less important than your wedges because those are the scoring clubs and those are the ones that are going to help get your handicap lower. But we're going to go, when you start getting into your hybrids, we're going to be 175, 185, 200 yards away from the green. It's not as critical to get those perfect as it is with your shorter stuff.
How many wedges do you think typically amateurs need to have in their bag?
I'm going to say a minimum of 3. I was just talking to your daughter Avery about this week, and she's got 4, and it's right for her. And she's so long, she hits them all the time. But I would say a minimum of 3. And here's something you want to consider when you're going in to get fitted. Talk to your person that's fitting you, this man or woman with that's undoubtedly going to be part of the PGA of America. Ask them, do I need a 60 or should I think of maybe a 57 or a 58? And the reason being is 57 or 58 degrees, Danny, as you know, that's a lot of loft on a club.
Sure is.
And you may not need that 60. And by starting at a lower number, you're going to get more out of it as we progress and go into the back part of your bag. What I mean by that is, let's say she says, nope, 57 degree. Here's a beautiful Titleist Vokey wedge 57. We're going to start here. Then from the 57, then maybe we go to 52. And then from the 52. So what we do is we back those down into your bag. And so by the time you get to your 4-iron and your 5-iron and things like that, you're covered. You're absolutely covered. And the thing about that L wedge and that 60-degree wedge is typically whenever you try to hit, and you know this more than anybody because you messed around with that 64-degree wedge for a while. The more you try to hit it harder.
You thought that was crazy.
I know. The more you try to hit it harder, it only goes higher.
Yeah.
It doesn't really go further, D. It doesn't push more towards the green. It just goes higher. It's
You're
almost
still
like,
laughing at my
it's
64.
almost like you got to swing and duck from that 64. But that's a question. That's a really valid question that you can ask the folks that are fitting you.
Okay, about 30 seconds left. Is there a typical company that you like to use in terms of, is there a brand of irons that you like to go with, or is there a more forgiving brand that's out there for the amateur? About 30 seconds left.
I don't think so. That's a great question, D. I don't think so. What you want to do is talk to the folks that are fitting you and tell them what your handicap is, because that will make a difference. But right now, I've got a 2-year-old set of the 770 TaylorMades, and Jeff Thornhill hooked me up with those, and I absolutely love them. But Callaway makes great sets. Mizuno makes great sets for all handicaps, all skill levels, Danny. Ping, Titleist, Cleveland, Mizuno.
You can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong. 15 years ago, Danny, I would have said, stick with these 3 companies. Now, because of Tiger, because there's so many eyes in the game and there's so much on the line with so many people buying clubs and things like that, you're not going to go wrong if you stay on brand with, Shrixon's great, Mizuno's fine, Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Cobra, Ping. They're all Cadillacs. You're going to love those. And folks, let us know how your fitting goes. For the fitting is a really huge component in this.
Our thanks to Kevin Korn, the head professional at Innsbruck, as well as Tyler Lowenstein, Director of Fitness from ELV8 Golf. Great show, Jay. Always fun. Have a great Memorial Day, too. Enjoy it.
I'll be seeing you soon, Danny. Thanks. I love it. And hit it straight, St. Louis. I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country. And all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis,